How are you? And welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah Rootsavita, aka The Woman in Wool, and on this channel we crochet and we talk history while dressing so that nobody sits next to us on the bus. I gotta say, sometimes it doesn't work and people still sit next to me on the bus. Spiel, I'm originally from New York. I moved to Dublin in 2016, and ever since then, it has been my mission to learn and talk about everything that I've learned here. I'm not a historian or formally educated in any of the topics that I talk about outside of my little neurodivergent obsession crawls, so enjoy that. And of course I learned just by talking to my friends and family in this country. Another fun fact about this video is that the entire script was deleted at some point. Swear to God, if you've been following this channel from the beginning, you'll know that my technical difficulties have never stopped. Just keep coming and they don't stop coming. Also, I curled my hair for 14 hours last night and I still can't fucking keep it in a curl for some reason. And all of the lighting in my house is shit except for right here, but the background is awful. So when it came between me being the star and the background being the star, you get Creepy Bear and me because I'm too vain to let the background win. Anyway, so that's what kind of headspace I'm in. Let's talk about history. Anyway, not bitter, never bitter, always an opportunity, never an inconvenience. Moving swiftly forward. It is very nearly spooky season. And for all of my pumpkin spicy spooky bitches out there, we are already seeking out the gold and red colored content and the yarn. And we are on the hunt for the spoopy and the spicy. I am nothing if not a people pleaser. I also feel like I'm celebrating my heritage when I do this kind of stuff. My heritage, of course, being an East Coast American girly. Anyway, we all know that Halloween is just a take on an old Irish holiday called Samhain, but I'm gonna be moving into that kind of topic and specifically Halloween topics closer to Halloween. Today, I just want to deliver some ghosty demon content tea. So today is Haunted Ireland, part 1. Because with a country this old and a pumpkin this spicy, there's going to be a lot of parts to this series. I would like to preface this video by letting people know that you could literally not make a more haunted place if you tried, and I feel like all horror movie tropes were based on this location. The building. The Hellfire Club. The name alone is a 10 out of 10. If you're gonna have a haunted building, you should absolutely name it something like the Hellfire Club. I really don't need a haunted Miss Vicky's Horse Girl School. But now that I say it, I do need a haunted Miss Vicky's Horse Girl School. The Irish Hellfire Club lives in an abandoned building on top of Mount Pelier Hill, just outside of Dublin City. Very ghosty vibes. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 though, because there were dog walkers and kite flyers there, and I just can't get truly terrified when somebody's yelling out Skittles. Skittles! In 1725, there was no house on the hill, but it did have the displeasure of meeting William Speaker Connolly. He was a well-liked, very rich Irish politician. Remember this though, he bought the land off of Philip, the first Duke of Wharton. Now Mr. Connolly, I shit you not, ripped out the ancient burial ground that had been there for thousands of years to build a hunting lodge on top of that hill. Do you want ghosts? Because that's how you get ghosts.
Do you want ants? Because that's how you get ants.
We have a saying in the United States that if something is so haunted it's unbelievable, it must have been built on a Native American burial ground, meaning not only is it as haunted as you could go in terms of timeline, but also it's bitter about the cultural meat grinding you did on top of it. So yeah, that's number fucking 1. The old burial ground was a Neolithic passage tomb, a lot like Newgrange is today. And Newgrange is considered so historically important to Ireland's past that there are entire teams and societies of people dedicated to preserving and upkeeping these areas. Newgrange is older than the pyramids. Now I'm not sure how old this Neolithic passage tomb was on top of Mount Pelier Hill, but if Newgrange is anything to go by, holy shit, Mr. Connolly, what did you do? Yeah, he just kind of lawnmowered across the whole thing. Another fun bit that adds to the creepy crawly feelings that I got while I was there is that the architect of this building is unknown. He stayed anonymous. There's no record of the architect of this building. And in my opinion, that means he didn't want the ghosties to find him. That's probably not what that means. But if I were designing a hunting lodge to go on top of a Neolithic passage tomb, I sure as fuck would leave my name out of the papers. It was also rumored that Connolly used a standing stone that was there to demarcate the area of the passage tomb as a lintel for his fireplace. I know. I had to look up what a lintel was too. Turns out it's just like a shelfy thing that goes on top of the fireplace. Goes that way. So, just like an idea from someone who's not an expert, if you're gonna rip out an ancient burial ground and spray paint "fuck you" on it, don't use the standing stone that's there to mark it as a shelf for your No Girls Allowed club. To absolutely nobody's surprise, the hunting lodge started to experience some more non-human activities, if you will, including the roof being ripped off in a storm the night of its completion, to which the locals had a reaction of, yeah, that sounds about right. He did desecrate a bunch of tombs. I can't help but imagine that this was the same kind of like eat the rich mentality that we had when all those billionaires went missing by the Titanic. Did you hear about Connolly's house on the hill? Oh, the one on the ancient burial ground we told him not to build? Yeah, that one. The one where the roof got ripped off because of the ghosties? Mm-hmm. not funny. It's not funny.
No, but it's not funny. At the end of the day, is it? It's serious.
I actually think people rather liked Connolly. Apologies, I didn't dive too far into his life for this video, but I can in another one. But there's like a bunch of roads and a train station dedicated to him, so it can't be all bad, right? They replaced the original roof that got ripped off with a stone one, which did add to the building's structural integrity, but made it look twice as sinister. The hauntedness keeps on going though, because after Connolly's death, the building was taken over by the Hellfire Club. Now, if you're looking to make everybody in the community go, then yeah, go ahead and name your club the Hellfire Club in Catholic Ireland in the 1700s. Personally, I would have gone with Miss Vicky's Horse Girl School, you know? Would have had the place to myself. I did read somewhere that the Hellfire Club was trying to kind of poke fun at the church and it was more of a satirical club, so if that was their intended outcome, they did it! The Hellfire Club did not start in this building though. It was originally a satirical club, like we said, that was started in England in 1718 by Philip I, Duke of Wharton. Yes, you heard that right. The same guy who sold Connolly the land on Montpellier Hill started the Hellfire Club in England. That would eventually take over that building. We'll get to that. This club was made to kind of mock the church, but don't get me wrong, Philip was 100% also just a drunken debaucherer and womanizer that needed a place to go. And the club itself promoted drinking, womanizing, and all the other fun stuff you get to do while you have money and power. The club was a pseudo-gentleman's club that allowed women. Okay. Founded in London, this was kind of a double life allowance for Philip. Gentleman politician by day, frat boy by night. But aren't we all? The club was disbanded in 1721 in England, however, by Parliament and King George I, and I'm gonna quote this now, due to political maneuverings by Wharton's enemies who pushed through a political bill against horrid impunities. And you know what, Philip? As someone who also is from a country whose government is consistently trying to push a Christian fundamentalist agenda, I get it. You can't let the man keep you down. Or disband your gender-inclusive sex club. Not to be dissuaded though, the club was reimagined by Francis Dashwood, the 11th Baron de la Spencer, in 1745. This is what happens when rich people get bored. You get sex devil clubs. Or like Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk boxing matches that nobody asked for. Why did they do that? Find something to do. I don't know. However, the Hellfire Club was brought into Ireland in 1735 after Connolly's death by a man named Richard Parsons, a man whose hobbies were firmly rooted in black magic. Of course they fucking were. Look, lads, this is how you get ghosts. Fun fact about Richard Parsons though, the guy who brought the club into Ireland, he was part of the Freemasons in 1722, just after the Hellfire Club was disbanded in London. Do you know who else was part of the Freemasons in 1722? Philip, 1st Duke of Wharton. This guy is everywhere. Do you think they met? Do you think they talked about it? Do you think Wharton gave Parsons the idea to bring the club to Ireland? Do you think this whole thing is a conspiracy? Do you think humans ever landed on the moon? Is it all a lie? Now, the Dublin Hellfire Club specialized in sex, debauchery, and alcoholism. A lot how I imagine rich people clubs function today, just on different hills. The secrecy surrounding the club led Dublin locals to believe that the members were devil worshippers and Satanists. Also, the fact that the president of the club, Simon Lintell, dressed in horns, wings, and hooves and called himself the King of Hell, led Dublin locals to believe that the members were devil worshippers and Satanists. That'll do it. They say Lintell made a deal with the devil himself, and when the devil came to collect on his soul, he tricked him and scooted away soul in hand. Now, if you're familiar with the tale of the jack-o'-lantern, you'll know that this is not a good idea. If you want more details about that, check out this video. And also, I'll be covering it closer to Halloween. Long story short, if you trick the devil into not taking your soul, they don't like it much in heaven either, and you just wander around Earth with nowhere to go. But again, who am I? It's also rumored that the members of the club used to set a place for Satan at their meetings, in case he wanted to visit. And just a word of warning from somebody who's not an expert, if you're looking to fit into a community that's deeply rooted in Catholicism, I would put devil worship just a little bit lower down the list of activities. But if you're not trying to fit in, then more power to you.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in.
Another fun little rumor that they had about this place was that they used to sacrifice cats and light the place on fire so it felt more hellish. And I gotta say, it's a dedication to an aesthetic. Camp, even. Now, I know you like your niche and your millennial farmhouse chic, but this place is literally hell. I see your French-inspired TV frame. That's cute. But have you ever lit your house on fire for the vibes? Also, I didn't know where to fit this in, but they may or may not have had deflowering ceremonies. And now you know that too. You're welcome. We all have to know it if I have to know it. But now for the good stuff, the ghost stories. Story number 1. The devil actually showed up. That's right, the empty seat got filled. Mazel tov. Rumor has it that one day a stranger came to the door and knocked on it, and they let him in because he had stacks on stacks. Not even kidding, he flashed some cash and they were like, whatever you want, daddy. And they started playing cards. This was before staring at your phone to avoid people was invented. One of the members drops a card under the table, goes down to pick it up, and sees that the stranger has hooves instead of feet. To which I say, what kind of shoe policy does this club have? Like, what kind of Satanist ritualistic club has a shoes at the door kind of rule?
Hey guys, I know we unalived cats, but can we have some fucking decorum, please?
When the member rightfully freaks out, the devil laughs, snaps his fingers, bursts into flame and disappears, and the member that saw his feet fell dead on the floor. Cool. I guess. Legend number 2. Some guy went up there. Legend has it, with no names or dates, that a young man got curious about what goes on at the club and went up to have a little peepsy. Now, I know this was before tropes in horror movies, but fellow white folks, don't go to the Devil Club just to see what they do.
Let's split up and look for more clues.
Legend has it he got such a fright by witnessing the members' activities for the night, he no longer spoke or walked for the rest of his life. And that's when therapy was invented. Just kidding. That's when shutting up and minding your business was invented. Number 3, the cat. Another young man. Again, names and dates are kind of loosey-goosey because they are legends and not actual stories. This lad visited a farmhouse nearby the Hellfire Club. And this man, unaware of what happens to saltines in horror movies, decided to check it out for himself.
Let's check it out.
0 out of 10, my guy. Even I'm not that bad. I'm more of a pumpkin spice and yoga pants white, not let's explore the haunted devil club kind of white.
You know, as I sit here editing, I realize that I am that kind of white. Look at me go. Like a sad, weird, 6th Scooby-Doo member. Looking, climbing up the hill. Looking at the Devil Club.
Long story short, the man showed up at the club and ended up dead. Curious about this man's death? Again, fellow ranch enthusiasts, leave the Haunted Devil Club out of your repertoire. The local priest and the farmer that the guy was staying with ended up going up to the club to investigate this man's death. You see what I mean by all horror tropes are based on this place? They hike up the hill and lo and behold, they find a huge demonic cat. How big the cat was unclear, but my godmother once had a really big fat cat named Pansy that we called Expansy, and I'm sure it was bigger than that. The priest, however, obviously endowed with holy water, spritzed it on the cat, and the creature split open, whatever that means, and let the two live with just the scratches on their backs.
I'm still looking for the cat. No cat yet, but I did find a hunk of bread.
Now, be honest with me here. If 2 lads went up to a haunted devil club and came back with scratches on their backs and a weird story to cover up what they were doing, what would you think? Now, after an actual fire that was not on purpose this time, weird that I have to specify that, but hey, the club members started to meet at the local Killikee house that's just down the hill from the Hellfire Club. The club, however, was disbanded in the 1740s, and that was the end of that. All in all, the Hellfire Club is a pillar of Irish history. From a Neolithic passage tomb to a couple of guys trying to tango with what they believe is black magic, that hilltop site has a lot of Irish stories associated with it. I mean, and if you're looking for like a haunted house that touches every single trope, I promise you this is the right one. I'd say building a house out of an ancient tomb, standing stones, and using it as a devil worship club should really tick all your boxes. Throw in some of the most superstitious people in the world, Europe in the 1700s, and let the rest do the talking. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, tell me I haven't disappointed my parents down in the comment section. Follow me on all the socials, except for Twitter, or X, or whatever. Rich people are so weird, you guys. That's something I've learned from this video, is that when rich people are bored, they just do weird shit. And if you'll excuse me, I have to go bathe in holy water, just in case. Am I doing this right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, what? Nope. So, 1, 2, 3. There we go.